It's raining, and there's a man sitting in his car taking some pills and contemplating with a flaming matchstick between his fingers. After much deliberation and the matchstick burns out, this man, whose name is Tom Cooper, a mentally unstable man feeling powerless and invisible to the world, carries a hammer and gallon of fuel breaks into the home of his ex-wife and starts hammering down the front door. He succeeds and is approached by his ex-wife's boyfriend and his ex-wife. He kills them both with a hammer before setting the house on fire. He then enters his car and with a last revengeful look of relief, he drives away as the house explodes. Rachel Flynn, a newly divorced single mother living in New Orleans, wakes up and receives a call from her lawyer and friend called Andy, telling her that her ex-husband is filing to take her house, which she shrugs off since she's late for work. Her son, Kyle, tells her he'll be late for school because she woke up late, but she reassures him. She rushes to make breakfast while she argues with her brother, who is with his fiancée Mary, about fiscal responsibilities, after which she drives her 15-year-old son Kyle to school in a rush-hour traffic. She engages her son in a spelling bee while driving to test his intellect. Due to the traffic, she decides to use a Google map to find a faster route, though her son advises against it. Whilst finding a faster route, her ex-husband calls and they have an unsettling argument, after which her favorite customer also calls, but is angry she would be late, so she fires her. Since she is frustrated, she apologizes to her son for not being punctual and maneuvers her way through the traffic till she reaches a pickup truck at a traffic light. She is running late to work, so she honks at the pickup truck, failing to go through a green light, and bypasses the truck but eventually ends up in another traffic. The owner of the truck, Tom, soon catches up to Rachel and proceeds to have a confrontation with her, relaying his grievances. Rachel tells him he was delaying her by not going through the green light, so he apologizes, then asks for an apology in return. The exchange escalates when Rachel tells him that she has nothing to apologize for. The traffic eases out and she drives off with Tom staring sternly and clearly offended. A small chase ensues where Tom surpasses them and stops at a traffic intersection and starts chasing Rachel, but Rachel eventually loses Tom. She tries to calm her son, engaging him in a conversation till they reach the school premises and then drops Kyle off, who is displeased because he will be punished for being late. She then calls her lawyer Andy and sets time to meet to discuss legal issues, after which she goes to a gas station and buys some commodities. She notices Tom outside in his truck staring angrily at her after paying. Tom had tracked Rachel to the gas station and switched his phone with hers while she was inside the gas station. Rachel gets help from a customer who accompanies her back to her car and gets Tom's license plate number. Tom then rams the customer with his truck and aggressively pursues Rachel. He chases her till they get to a traffic-congested road, but he keeps ramming his truck into hers, tormenting her till the traffic eases up. Then there is a car chase once more. She tries to get her phone to call for help, but Tom drives beside her and holds her phone teasingly, at which point she changes her route and loses Tom, almost hitting a pedestrian. She drives to an alley to recuperate her thoughts and energy. Tom then uses the daily planner in Rachel's phone to locate Andy at a diner and plays the devil's advocate, pretending to be Rachel's friend. He engages in a conversation with Andy for a while until he offers to call Rachel for Andy since Andy isn't able to contact her. Rachel hears a phone ring in the car and goes to check and finds a flip phone, which she picks and hears Tom, who gives the phone to Andy. But before she can warn Andy, Tom beats and stabs him to death while Rachel is still on the phone. She finally apologizes, but he declines, claiming she didn't mean it. Tom continues to stalk Rachel, and she calls him, telling him she has called the cops, but he seems ready to face the consequences. He starts going through her contacts and threatens to kill her contacts, but Rachel pleads. So he tells Rachel to choose the contact to kill next, and she chooses herself, but he insists she chooses a contact, so she chooses her favorite customer, Deborah, who fired her. So Tom proceeds and tells Rachel not to lose the phone because he'll keep in touch. Rachel's brother is watching the news of Tom killing Andy, same time the police arrive at Deborah's house to protect her, because Rachel called in to make a report. Tom goes to Rachel's brother, Fred's house, and tortures his fiancée Mary. He beats her up mercilessly and eventually kills his fiancée, after which he then ties Fred to a chair and tells Rachel that she has 3 minutes to go to the school and get Kyle, and get as far away from the school as possible before he sets Fred on fire. She gets to the school premises, desperately demanding that the principal release Kyle. The principal refuses at first, but after she shows the picture of his brother tied by Tom, the principal finally agrees. She gets him and drives away. Tom calls and insists to hear Kyle's voice as confirmation, which she does. Rachel then asks to speak with Fred. Tom then lets Fred read a letter he forced Fred to write, telling Rachel that she is at fault for all that's happening, while Tom holds a lighter to burn Fred because he had poured fuel on Fred earlier. A police officer then arrives at Rachel's house, where Tom is holding Fred captive. Tom sets Fred on fire, and then the cop shoots Tom and tries to put the fire out as Tom escapes. The whole scene is going on while Rachel is on the phone, so she gets emotional with her son. After Rachel leaves with Kyle, Tom catches up with them on a highway. They use a tablet GPS application to locate her phone and Tom, since Tom stole her phone earlier, and find out that her phone and Tom is in a minivan directly in front of them. They drive quietly by his minivan and spot a police car, so they attempt to alert the police officer. But before the officer could report the incident, Tom rams his cruiser, causing a massive multi-vehicle car accident. Rachel tries to call the police, but the tablet power dies, so they make a plan to hide somewhere familiar to them, just to give them a fighting chance. Tom pursues Rachel, causing a lot of vehicular casualties, till she loses him at a sharp branch to her mother's house. They quickly drive to the house, and she tells Kyle to go and hide in his secret place, so he does, but he triggers a silent alarm and goes to hide. Tom drives through the whole neighborhood surveying, since he can't no longer track them, and finds their hideouts due to Rachel's car packed in the garage. But before he could move, Rachel rams her other car hiding in the opposite direction into Tom's car, capsizing it. She exits and confirms if Tom is knocked out, but Tom attacks Rachel in the driveway and seemingly knocks her out. He then enters the house in search of Kyle. As he's about to walk back outside, Kyle topples some metals, inadvertently alerting Tom to his hiding place upstairs. Rachel enters the house in an attempt to protect Kyle, but Tom finds her and they struggle violently. When Tom begins to strangle Kyle, Rachel stabs Tom in the eye with a pair of scissors, killing him. The police arrive and inform Rachel that Fred survived the attack, which relieves them abundantly. Rachel and Kyle decide to leave to see Fred at the hospital. As they drive away, a car cuts Rachel off at the intersection, and she stops herself from honking at the angry driver. Kyle observes and says, "Good choice." They both smile and leave. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode.